Hello everyone. Today I thought I'd make a little project. I need to make a bit of Christmas wall decor, as I've taken my pictures and plates down that I normally have on the wall and I have a space that I need to fill. So what I've got here is a couple of pieces of cardboard. It's just packaging cardboard off a box, and I've just marked the center. There it is, is it 9? It's about 9.5 inches across, which is 24 centimeters, and it is 17 inches long, which is 43 centimeters. And all I'm going to do is get a pencil and just freehand draw the shape of a Christmas bauble, perhaps in a teardrop, upside down teardrop type of shape. That's the only thing that because it's only a small wall that it's going on, and it's the only thing I can kind of think of that might work. So I'm just going to do that. Hopefully that will look all right. Don't want any elaborate curves or anything like that, because once you start covering things with lace, they lose all their shape anyway, so I don't see the point. I might as well just have the benefit of the pretty lace. Now I've done that, I'll get some scissors and I will cut. It's probably easier to use my cutting mat and a knife for this. So let's see how we go here. Being careful. And it doesn't have to be exactly precise, because like I said, when you cover things in lace, they tend to lose their shape anyway. I'm standing way back and to the side of this because you know, I don't want to slip and hurt myself or anything like that. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, now using this piece here, I'm just going to turn it over and trace around that piece to get my shape fairly even. See that? And I will cut that out, and I'm going to make two, so I will also cut it out on the other piece as well, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I found this fabric. It's an old tablecloth, and I was just seeing what it looked like ripped up and that it didn't fray too much, and it should work quite nicely. So what I'm going to do, I've got like a bigger piece, but this is probably better off doing it from the larger piece. All I'm going to do is rip some strips off, and they are approximately 2 inches, which is 5 centimeters, and gather those up. And what I thought I would do is just gather them up and have them going across the bauble like that. And then I've gone into my Crafty Me shop things and found a few things that I think might work quite nicely. Like I have, because I'm making 2, I tried to get things where I had enough for 2. I have these beautiful appliques, and I thought maybe they could be at the top somewhere like that as a decoration. I have this, which is a silver ring. It's covered in like cording or something. It actually had bells hanging off it, but I used the bells on my front door wreath this year. So I have this ring, and I thought that might make a nice topper for it, but I only have one. But then I found this, which is what Gail sent me. It's a silver bangle, and that could work for the other one. I'm not sure if I will wrap it. Maybe I will, because it's going to be seen like that, and look how thin that is. So I've done that. So I'll go ahead and I will rip all the strips of fabric, and I will show you that. Some people don't know how to do that, so I will quickly show you how to rip a piece of fabric. You just find out how wide you want it, put a slit in it, and rip it, and it goes down the grain of the fabric. This is pretty old, so I can just break that off, but you can cut that off as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do enough of that with my sheet, and then I'll be back. I'm just going around the edge of my cardboard with this gimp braid. This is one that I found at the op shop or thrift store, and I have enough here. You can see it's not in perfect condition, but it will be fine, just so I'm not seeing that cardboard edge. I don't think it's going to be that visible, but it's more for my own peace of mind that I know I've finished off the edge, in case you can see it. But I'm not going to cover the back of this, mainly because I have a lot to finish, projects to finish at the moment, and that's just going to go straight across against the wall. There's nothing there that's going to damage the wall in any way, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. If you wanted to, you could cover the back of yours with paper or something like that. It's totally up to you. But at this stage, I'm just going to leave mine as is. I'm using fabric glue, Helmar fabric glue, to attach this gimp. And so once I've covered them, I will be back. Just by putting a bead of glue along the edge there, that will be sufficient to hold the braid in place. You just sort of keep the braid straight, open it up a little bit, and curve it around your shape. And I don't trim it off to size before I glue it. I wait until the glue's taken hold properly, then I'll trim it to size then, and put a little bit of glue on the end of it. See, if you just run your finger around it, you should get it looking fairly good. Put a little bit of glue after I cut it and join it to the other one. Now I can trim that. The join won't be seen because that's where I'll be putting the ring part and decoration anyway, but still try and make it nice and neat. And with the excess glue, just, you know, touch it around so nothing gets fraying over time. You don't want anything fraying away. And then that one is done, and I can get on with the other one. I'm back. What I've decided to do is put a bit of this silver tissue paper there, so that when I put some lace over it, it has a little bit more depth to it rather than just having a white background. And this is the wonderful thing about seeing other people do tutorials and make mistakes. You don't have to make those mistakes. So might be a good idea, if you want something shiny or shimmery behind your lace, to put it on before you put your cording on. If you want to put book paper on it, that would be another nice option. I kind of have a lot of glitz and glamour going on, but I also have lace and fabrics, so I'm trying to meld them all together, and I just thought this might help blend everything in a little bit better. So I've just cut that there. I don't need it up the top. I'm just going to glue that on, and I've got a Craft and Hobby glue here that I can use for that, if there's any left in here. Might not be. I've got some tacky glue if not. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on before starting to decorate it. Okay, so that's glued on, and I'm not too concerned with the little wrinkles because that will give it a more of a shimmery effect behind the lace. And the lace I'm using is this beautiful wide lace that I got from Crafty Me shop, and it's just beautiful. And I'm going to just use pieces of it to cover this bottom part. Just so, which will mean cutting it into pieces kind of thing. Just go like that. And the pieces I cut off will be used to fill in gaps, because I don't need it to have a pattern or anything like that. I just want the lace over. It will help it coordinate with other things that I've got. So that like that down like that. Okay. And I'll take it up like that. So if I put that there like that, it fills a good portion of that in, doesn't it? Now I can just start working with this piece to fill in these little gaps. And like I said, it doesn't have to have a pattern or anything like that. I've got these bits here. Where did I put that? Look, there's a little bit I just put in. Is that? There, yeah, okay, we'll put that one in there. Like that. Put that one there. Doesn't matter if it overlaps a bit. Or perhaps like that. I can cut that petal off so it goes more like that there, and that leaf that can fill in that gap there. That can go like that. I'll get rid of that bit. Go like that. There. Maybe something up there. Like that. And that just covers all that bottom part in. I'll have the ruffles coming down to a certain point. And if I need this to go a little bit higher, I still have the silver paper here. I can use these pieces just to fill that in. And I might just do that anyway, just so I know that they're okay. Like that. And see how it just catches the silver. And being for Christmas, I think that might look nice. I hope so. But it's not so shiny that it overtakes the whole thing. It's kind of a subtle shine. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all these applique pieces onto the silver now, and then we'll put the ruffle on. That lace is all glued on now, as you can see there, and I'm hoping that will look quite alright. Now what I've done is made a little pencil mark to mark the center at the top here, and this is the fabric that I ripped into strips, and I have gathered it up on the sewing machine. Now you don't have to gather it on the sewing machine if you don't want to. You can just scrunch it up and glue it as you're going along. I'm just going to put a piece at the top there using my fabric glue. I'm just going to a little bit on the cord, like an oval shape around like that, and then another little bit on that cord there, and let's just get that over. I have folded the end of the fabric over, and I'm going to press it down there, and then as I glue it on, I'm just going to scrunch it up a little bit like that. See how I'm pinching it in, and that's exactly how you can do it even if it's not stitched. Because this is quite a thicker fabric, I wanted to sew my gathering in, but that you don't have to do that. Now I need to trim it off a bit here and put a little bit of glue here so that I can fold that over on itself like that, and then lift that up a bit. Make sure I've got enough glue there, a bit too much, and place that there, and there we go. Just scrunch it in. Just have to lift it up so I can see it front on, otherwise I might not get it how I want it. Doesn't have to be too gathered because this is the top one. Okay, there we go, just like that. See, there's my pencil mark in the center there, and I've got glue on my hands, but that's quite alright. And that's how that first one will go. Fairly even gathers, but not too bulky. The next thing I do is glue under there and add another strip. That is the second row done of the fabric there, and what I'm going to do on the third row is actually get a piece of this fabric here. Let's just make that a bit straighter, and I have this lace here from Crafty Me shop. This one is slightly tea stained already, and I'm just going to cut the top scallop off it so that I can gather it up. And so I'll just fold it over like that so it's nice and even. And just where the bottom of that scallop is, I'll cut across there. I can use that for something at some stage, and that way I have a nice even trim to put with my fabric and gather them both up together. I just want to break up the cotton fabric. I don't want it to be all just cotton. I want to have this in between the layers, so I will have like the two layers here. I'll have a layer with the lace there and then a couple more layers underneath it. So once I've done that, I will come back and show you. And to do the gathering, I'm just running a gathering stitch on my sewing machine through both of those, and then pulling the top thread gently to gather it up. If you want to, you can glue yours just the same way that I showed you how to glue that top piece there on. So that's what it looks like gathered up together. I just didn't want to have the clear lace on there. I wanted it to have the fabric under it as well. Just kind of makes it look a bit more substantial. So I'm just gluing that. I'm placing it down first under there, and then I'm going to see if, you know, place it in the right place once I've got it up like that. So like that. Press that down and making sure it's going to be long enough, which it should be. It'll look like that for that layer. So I'll go ahead and glue that into place just under there. There we go. So there's 6 ruffles in all. One has the lace over the top of it. And what I want to do is use one of these appliques. I've chosen appliques that have the clear sequins on them rather than the colourful ones, because all the Christmas things I've made in previous years for myself, they don't have the colourful sequin things on them. So I'm trying to at least get that looking very similar. And I'm going to glue this under here like that. Just let me have a look. Like that, I think. Just to add something to that layer. And that's quite easy. I just get my glue and leave it in position and put some glue on the back of the applique and press it down. And I tend to do these in a way where in a couple of years' time, if I don't want to use it anymore, I can take that applique off and reuse it on something else if I want to. You know, the same with these pieces. If I don't put so much glue under them that they'll never be able to be removed. Because it's for me, so there we go. That looks about right. I'll just, yep, that looks fine. Okay, and then up the top here, I have a couple of little scraps left of the gathered fabric. So what I will do is just get that cotton off it, cut a strip, I think, like that, because I want to, where's the, oh, here we go. I want that there at the top. You know how Christmas baubles have a ring to hang them from, don't they? So I want to mimic that and use that to hang it on my wall as well. So putting that there like that. And then once that dries, I will take that over like that, putting perhaps a bit more glue here. I'm just trying to get the excess glue off the bottle to do that. So I'll put that there. That will go over the top of the ring, and I will glue it like that, and I will glue that to the back there. So that will be a nice strong hanger, even though this is not heavy. But what I might do is see if I've got some silver ribbon or something to wrap around that so it doesn't look so thin that way. Yeah, because that's like a leopard print bracelet, which really isn't going to go very well. That goes like that. Then I've got this gorgeous dangle applique from Crafty Me shop, and of course this applique here was from Crafty Me shop also, and that is going to hang there like that on the top, which will be pretty. I want a bow on it though, so I've got to hunt around and see what kind of ribbons I've got to make a bow, and then it should be finished. So I'll go and do that now. I found this lovely silver gimp braid, and I'm wondering that may work to go around this like that, and just give it a little bit more substance, because this is quite big and that looks quite narrow. So let's just have a, let's try that. And I hope the lighting is alright. It's very smoky. The air is very smoky, which makes it look very overcast. So there's not a lot of light at the moment. Put a bit more glue there on there. I don't want to glue it everywhere, I don't think. Let's see. Once that holds, that should be alright now. I can start going around and just putting a bit every so often. Like that. Press it into shape. That might be alright, I think. Not quite Christmassy, because I do have a lot of silver decorations that I've put up, but I also have whites and off-white colours and a little bit of light gold colours, and I have some bronze pieces, so you know, I've got to kind of blend it into everything. So I'll keep going with that anyway, and then I'll continue on. I have this ribbon here. I don't have a lot of ribbon, but I only have enough for 2 bows, and I don't have enough for tails. So unless I can find some more at a later date, because I know where I bought this a couple of years ago, I can add tails perhaps at a later date. And I thought that would be pretty. It's kind of silver and light gold, so that will tie in with everything, and put that up the top there. So how am I going to do that? It just needs a bit of cotton around it, I think, doesn't it? Like a needle and thread. Okay, so I am just going to put that bow under there and glue it on, glue that over the top, and it will be finished. That's what the ring looks like. It turned out really pretty. Do it right up, then if I don't do the cap up because the heat at the moment, it pours out of the top, so hopefully that's central, and just that tiny little bit of that, the top of that applique folds over that bow really nicely. I just need to lift it up so I can check I've got that central. Sorry about that. And then I can puff the bow up, and like I said, if I can find some more of that at a later date, I may put tails on top of it. It may not need it though. I might need a little bit more glue under there. I'll just hold that there. I like that ribbon. It's just a combination of the silver and soft gold, and it's really quite pretty. That is from Craft. I bought that a couple of years ago. That's all I've got left of it, that little square. And so there we go. Is the one with the silver behind it. And I'll see how that looks. I'll just have to let it dry thoroughly before I go hanging it up, that's all. Got the wrong glasses. Okay. Alright, so they're both finished. This is the one with the silver underneath. And there's the top of it with the bangle that I covered in braid and the bow. And this is one that doesn't have silver underneath. It just has the white cardboard. And that's how they look. And I thought, well, if I wanted to hang them both on the wall, you know, like that, the contrast in the colour, although it's only very subtle, would be nice. So, you know, something, I don't know how you hang these things. We'll work it out. They're not going together, actually. They're going on two separate walls. So it doesn't matter if one has silver. I'll see how they look. If I prefer the silver, all I have to do is carefully just pull back this lace and put a piece of silver behind that anyway. But there's the two different colours. I think they're both lovely, to be honest. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and remember, these beautiful appliques and the laces are from Crafty Me shop, and I'll put the details to that Facebook page in the description box below. So take care, everybody. Bye bye, and thank you for watching. Bye.